Welcome to English Research. Unlock the power of words, ideas, and exploration. This is more than learning. It's a journey through stories, questions, and discoveries that shape how we see the world. Let curiosity lead the way. Your adventure begins now. The roots of football stretch back over 2,000 years. Ancient civilizations such as the Chinese, with the game of kuju, Greeks, episkiros, and Romans, harpastum, all played ball games that resembled modern football in some form. Kuju, documented in ancient Chinese military manuals, involved kicking a leather ball into a net without using hands, and is considered the earliest known form of a game resembling football. However, the version we recognize today as football began to take shape in medieval England. Villagers played chaotic and often violent versions of football across streets and fields with few rules and varying ball sizes. These games were usually unregulated and could last for hours. Modern football, or soccer, was codified in England in the mid-19th century. The key milestone came in 1863 when the Football Association, FA, was formed in London. This body established the first standardized rules, separating football from rugby. Ebenezer Cobb Morley, a lawyer and sportsman, played a crucial role in drafting these laws, which became the foundation of modern football. The unification of different regional styles into a single rulebook helped transform football from a chaotic pastime into an organized sport. Football spread rapidly across Europe in the late 19th century due to British influence through colonization, trade, and education. British sailors, workers, and soldiers introduced the game to ports and cities around the world. Local clubs began forming in nations such as Spain, Italy, Argentina, Brazil, and France. In 1904, FIFA, Fédération Internationale de Football Association, was founded in Paris to oversee international competitions and rules. By the early 20th century, football was already becoming a common language among diverse nations. The first official FIFA World Cup took place in Uruguay in 1930. It was the vision of Jules Rimet, a Frenchman who believed football could promote international unity and peace. Uruguay was chosen as the host nation in celebration of its centenary of independence and its dominance in the Olympic football tournaments of the 1920s. The tournament featured just 13 teams, mostly from the Americas and Europe, and Uruguay emerged as the first world champions. Since then, the FIFA World Cup has become the most watched sporting event in the world. Several factors contributed to the game's global spread. Its simplicity, requiring only a ball and a space to play, made it accessible in poor and rich countries alike. Colonialism played a major role. Countries under British rule adopted and localized the game. The rise of radio and television allowed fans to follow international matches. Legendary players such as Pelé, Maradona, and Zidane inspired generations and attracted global audiences. FIFA's investment in youth programs, international tournaments, and global marketing helped the sport reach all corners of the world. Football clubs became community symbols and powerhouses of local pride. Competitions like the UEFA Champions League, Copa Libertadores, and the FIFA Club World Cup created platforms for clubs to compete on international stages. Clubs such as Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, and AC Milan became global brands with massive fan bases. Domestically, leagues like the English Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A brought club rivalries into the living rooms of fans worldwide. The massive global fan base has made football the most lucrative sport in the world. Top leagues generate billions of dollars through broadcasting rights, sponsorships, merchandise, and match-day revenue. Star players like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappe become icons, drawing millions of fans and boosting their club's marketability. As a result, clubs are willing to pay astronomical wages and transfer fees. Moreover, in an industry with short career spans and high injury risks, Players are compensated generously during their peak years. Football's popularity continues to rise every day due to social media, streaming platforms, and global marketing. Iconic rivalries, thrilling goals, and dramatic tournaments fuel daily conversations. Children in villages of Africa, favelas of Brazil, streets of Asia, and parts of Europe grow up dreaming of becoming football stars. International tournaments like the FIFA Women's World Cup and continental events like the UEFA Euros and Copa America further broaden the sport's appeal. Football unites nations, races, and religions in a celebration of competition and community. Football is more than a game. It is often a mirror of society, politics, and identity. In countries like Brazil and Argentina, football has become part of the national identity, where victories on the pitch translate into pride and unity. During times of war, political turmoil, or economic hardship, football has offered hope and escape. For instance, in 1998, France's World Cup victory became a powerful symbol of multicultural unity, as players from diverse backgrounds represented the nation together. In South Africa, the hosting of the 2010 World Cup was more than a tournament. It was a celebration of post-apartheid progress and Africa's place on the world stage. Football has also played roles in diplomacy and protest. Players have used their platforms to stand against racism, advocate for human rights, and support social causes, turning stadiums into arenas of global influence. The legacy of football is also written through its legendary players. Pelé, the Brazilian genius, brought joy and magic to millions, winning 3 World Cups and becoming the first global football superstar. Diego Maradona's Hand of God goal and his slalom run against England in 1986 showcased both the controversy and beauty of the game. Zinedine Zidane, Johan Cruyff, Ronaldo Nazario, Ronaldinho, and George Weah each left unique marks on the sport. Whether it was Weah becoming president of Liberia or Cruyff revolutionizing tactics with total football. In more recent times, the rivalry between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi has defined an era. With records, Ballon d'Ors, and countless titles, they elevated the sport to new heights and globalized club loyalty. Women's football has seen explosive growth, especially in the 21st century. While the sport faced discrimination and bans in the early 1900s, such as England's 1921 FA ban on women's matches, persistence led to resurgence. The inaugural FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991 marked a turning point. Since then, nations like the United States, Germany, Norway, and Japan have lifted the trophy. The 2019 Women's World Cup in France was a landmark event, breaking viewership records and spotlighting issues like gender pay equality. Clubs and federations worldwide are now investing in women's football infrastructure, and stars like Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, and Sam Kerr are inspiring a new generation of players and fans. Football is also a massive economic engine. In Europe alone, the football industry supports hundreds of thousands of jobs, from stadium workers to broadcasters. Cities bid billions to host tournaments like the World Cup or Champions League final, anticipating economic boosts through tourism and infrastructure development. Sponsorship deals with global brands such as Nike, Adidas, Emirates, and Coca-Cola pour billions into the sport. Clubs like Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain are backed by wealthy states or corporations, leading to new debates about sports washing and financial fair play. In the digital age, football's growth has accelerated. Fans no longer rely solely on television. They follow matches, highlights, and behind-the-scenes moments via YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Clubs now engage with fans across continents in real time. Players have become influencers with global followings. Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, is the most followed person on Instagram, a testament to his worldwide appeal. Esports and video games like EAFC, formerly FIFA, have also contributed to football's popularity among youth. These games teach players about clubs, tactics, and players, building a deep connection to the sport from a young age. Few sports evoke as much emotion as football during national tournaments. Clashes like Argentina versus Brazil, England versus Germany, or Spain versus Italy are more than just games. They are woven into the historical and cultural psyche of each nation. Yet, these rivalries are tempered by football's power to unite. The World Cup sees fans from every continent gather in celebration, singing, cheering, and sharing culture. Even wars have paused for football. As seen in the famous 1914 Christmas truce, when German and British soldiers played football in no man's land during World War I. As football continues to evolve, so does the technology around it. VAR, video assistant referee, goal line technology, and wearable performance trackers are shaping how the game is played and judged. Innovations in stadium design, green energy, and fan experiences are making football more sustainable and inclusive. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar showcased climate-controlled stadiums and set a new standard for infrastructure. At the grassroots level, more countries are investing in youth academies, coaching, and community programs to develop homegrown talent. Africa, Asia, and North America are rising in competitiveness, signaling a more global balance in the future of football. While Europe and South America have historically dominated football, Asia and Africa are now powerful forces in shaping the future of the sport. In Africa, football is more than a passion, it's a hope. Countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and Cameroon have produced world-class talent such as George Weah, Didier Drogba, Yaya Touré, and Sadio Mane. African players now dominate top clubs in Europe, and academies across the continent are nurturing future stars. The Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, has grown into a prestigious tournament, showcasing both the talent and spirit of African football. Though no African nation has reached a World Cup final, their influence continues to grow. Morocco's historic semi-final run in the 2022 FIFA World Cup inspired millions and marked a turning point. In Asia, football is booming, particularly in countries like Japan, South Korea, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and increasingly in India and China. The K-League and J-League are producing technically sound and disciplined players, with stars like Son Heung-min becoming global ambassadors. The Asian Cup and AFC Champions League are growing in prestige, and several nations are investing in grassroots development and football infrastructure. Football often becomes a political tool or a voice for social change. In 1970, Pele's arrival in Nigeria with Santos FC led to a temporary ceasefire in the Nigerian Civil War. In Chile, during the Pinochet dictatorship, football stadiums were used as detention centers, highlighting the sport's complicated intersections with power. Players today use their platforms to raise awareness on issues such as racism, inequality, and war. When Marcus Rashford campaigned for child food poverty reforms in the UK, it showed how players are now seen as activists and leaders beyond the pitch. The Black Lives Matter movement also found support through footballers kneeling before matches in solidarity. From the early days of chaotic, offense-heavy matches to today's hyper-structured formations, football tactics have evolved dramatically. The 4-4-2, once dominant, gave way to more fluid systems like the 4-3-3, 3-5-2, and the 4-2-3-1. Johan Cruyff's total football, with Ajax and the Netherlands, revolutionized how teams move and defend as a unit. Arrigo Sacchi brought zonal marking and pressing to Milan. Pep Guardiola's tiki-taka style at Barcelona emphasized possession and space, influencing a generation. Today, managers like Klopp, Ancelotti, and Arteta blend tactical discipline with innovation. Football is now a science, with data analytics, video analysis, and sports psychology integrated into every matchday preparation. Club rivalries are the heartbeat of domestic football. El Clasico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona is more than a game. It reflects political and cultural tensions in Spain. In England, the North-West derby between Manchester United and Liverpool is rooted in regional rivalry and pride. Italy's Milan derby, Argentina's Superclásico, Boca Juniors versus River Plate, and Brazil's Fla-Flu, Flamengo versus Fluminense, show how deeply club loyalty runs. Certain clubs have become dynasties. Real Madrid's dominance in the Champions League, Manchester United's reign under Sir Alex Ferguson, Bayern Munich's hold over German football, and Ajax's legacy in youth development are legendary. These dynasties shape football's history and its future. For millions, football is more than a game. It's part of who they are. A child growing up in Lagos, Naples, or Rio may wear their club's jersey not just as support, but as identity. Supporting a team becomes a family tradition, a community bond, and a cultural lifeline. Fans decorate their homes, tattoos bear club crests, and songs echo through generations. Even in diaspora communities, football offers belonging. A Brazilian in Tokyo, a Turk in Berlin, or an Algerian in Paris finds connection through clubs and national teams. International tournaments create moments of pride that transcend borders, religion, or language. If you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and share.